get this, imagine a world, right, where kids who are dealing with poverty, limited opportunities, they're not just dreaming big, but they're actually like overachieving.
Wow.
That's the mission of this Omuto Foundation in Uganda.
Yeah.
They're tackling these huge challenges, and they put together this booklet called The Journey Within, and it's really cool how they break down how they do it.
It's interesting because it's not just, those feel-good stories.
Right.
It's grounded in actual research, expert input, and it's like a practical roadmap almost that anyone who's passionate about, positive change can follow along.
I love that. A blueprint, that's what it is.
Exactly.
A blueprint for change. So at the heart of everything they do are these 5 core principles: overcoming, maximizing, utilizing, transforming, and overachieving. I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, buzzwords. But then you start to see how they put these into practice in their programs, and it just clicks.
Right. Exactly.
It really makes sense.
Take the utilizing opportunities, just as an example.
Yeah, okay.
The booklet, it tells a story about Amina, this young girl, who discovered she's really into coding. And it all came from one of Omuto's tech workshops.
Wow.
But she didn't just, dabble. She utilized it, created an app that addressed local water sanitation issues.
No way.
Yeah.
So she saw a need and she was able to
turn that spark, that opportunity into something real.
That is incredible. To see that in action, just a word, but to actually apply it, that's amazing. Okay, so we're talking principles, but what do these programs actually look like? Paint us a picture here.
It's a pretty diverse range. So you have the Rural Talented Kids program, and they focus on nurturing artistic talent in these underserved communities.
Yeah.
And on a completely different side, you have the Gifted Cubs Football Club. And as you can imagine, it's football. But they use it as a tool for personal and social development.
I like that. It makes me think, right, because you mentioned the football club, it makes me think about addressing the whole child. It's not just about academics. It's not just about, this one skill set.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so cool about their approach is they recognize these kids are dealing with some heavy stuff. Malnutrition, sexual violence, lack of awareness about their basic rights. So the football club, it becomes more than just sport.
It's a haven.
It's that safe space. It's where they can build relationships, learn teamwork, develop those essential life skills.
Yeah.
And all of that feeds back into, their ability to learn and grow in other areas.
This whole idea of holistic development, it actually connects really well to the next part of our deep dive, the booklet itself.
Okay.
I was so impressed by how practical the advice is, even for those of us who aren't working directly with Ugandan youth. Chapters like overcoming challenges, maximizing potential, utilizing opportunities, they hit differently. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's not just like motivational quotes or anything.
Right.
It really gets into actionable advice,
Yeah.
There's thought-provoking discussion questions. So it makes you think about how you would apply these things to your own life.
Totally. Under the overcoming challenges chapter, there's a whole section on nurturing self-compassion, which I don't know, that really stuck with me. You don't always see that emphasized, and I think it's so important.
You're right. And the booklet actually talks about how self-compassion, it's not about letting yourself off the hook.
Right.
It's about recognizing that setbacks are going to happen. They're a part of growth.
For sure.
And that you should be kind to yourself, Treat yourself with the same understanding that you would offer a friend going through something similar.
It's that whole, be your own best friend kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that ties into, the whole Omuto spirit of resilience and perseverance that we were talking about earlier.
Totally, totally. So we've got these principles, we've got the advice. It sounds like they're creating a really supportive environment, a real ecosystem for these kids.
For sure. And that's where I think the stories in this booklet, they're so powerful.
Yeah.
Because we get to see the Omuto approach in action through the lives of these young people. Like, for example, there's a story about David. I think you'll find it really inspiring.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about David.
So picture this, right? David's a kid. He's facing the daily struggle of not having access to clean water.
Wow.
But instead of just waiting for someone else to fix it, he decides to take matters into his own hands.
What?
Yeah.
He's like a little entrepreneur already.
Right. So the booklet talks about how the Omuto Foundation, they gave him some guidance, they helped him connect with some resources. But the drive, the vision, that was all David.
It's amazing what a little bit of support can do to light that fire.
It's incredible. He gets his friends together, they come up with a plan, they actually raise money, and then, get this, they implement a solution that brings clean water to his community.
Get out. No way.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And it really speaks to the power of just believing in young people
Yeah.
and giving them the tools to make a difference.
So not a handout, but a hand up.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
David's story it gives a whole new meaning to utilizing opportunities, right?
Yeah.
But it also makes me think about that phrase we keep hearing, Omuto spirit.
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean?
It's a great question.
It really is a great question. Like, we've talked about the principles, the programs. We've even met some incredible kids, Amina, David. But it always comes back to this Omuto spirit thing.
Right.
What does it even mean beyond just the name?
It's like it's the thing that ties it all together, you know?
Yeah.
All the stories, the advice, even the tough stuff. Think about Amina using her tech skills to tackle the water issue, or David leading that whole project. That's Omuto spirit for you.
I see what you mean.
It's inner strength, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
also that drive to find your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
to do something, contribute something bigger than yourself.
So it's not just like individual grit. There's something more to it.
Exactly, and that's where the whole community aspect comes in.
Ah.
Remember that part in the booklet about building your support network? Omuto spirit,
Yeah.
it thrives on that. Knowing you're not alone, your success uplifts others. It's fuel, you know?
It makes you think, though. This isn't just like a Uganda thing.
Right.
Wanting to overcome stuff, find your purpose, belong. That's universal.
You got it. And that's what I think is so powerful about what Omuto's doing. It shows us those desires. They're within reach. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your circumstances are.
It really makes you think about that line from the booklet, how their whole model is built on like proven strategies. If it's working so well there,
Yeah.
could we adapt these ideas, bring them to other places, even in our own lives?
Now there's something to think about. Because really, the Omuto story reminds us that everyone's got a story.
That's true.
And those stories, they have power, especially when we're brave enough to share them.
This whole deep dive has been amazing. The Omuto Foundation, they're not just changing lives over there, they're giving us this blueprint for anyone who believes in the power of young people and the power of community.
And it leaves us all with a question. What story are you going to share with the world?